The winter weather we've been tracking all week has arrived, and it's hitting many parts of the state with snow. We'll tell you what's going on here and also give you the latest look from our crew up in Dallas.
And the cold that we're experiencing can also be deadly to those who are unhoused. What a recent report says about the mortality rate of Austin's homeless population.
And today at the First Warning Weather Center, we're tracking some wintry mix, especially for the hill country. We'll talk about the timings and totals here on 12.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
We want to start here with a live look over downtown Austin, where it's definitely gloomy out there to match some of the cold temperatures that we've been seeing this week.
We've been seeing some drizzle in the camera view there a little bit earlier this morning, but we've got a look at the radar now with meteorologist Tommy House. So what all is being experienced out there? Because it looks like quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's just winter weather, there's rain, there's clouds, there's pretty much everything that we've been talking about kind of compressed into one sort of radar shot. We'll show you what's going on right now with those current conditions. You're going to notice that west of Burnett and 281, we're noticing a little bit of some wintry mix. I was actually out in Gillespie County this morning, and they were preparing the roads for some of this icing that's beginning to fall. Lampasas and Llano and San Saba County are getting some pretty good on and off drizzle that could be freezing or perhaps a sleet mixture. But right around the Austin area, down toward Bastrop and Lockhart and San Marcos, that's where we're just seeing a cold rain with temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s. Some pockets of freezing could be possible temperature-wise in the hill country, hence that's why we're getting some of that wintry weather there, where it's much warmer in the upper 30s, low 40s downtown right now in Austin. Big picture, as Avery and Wolf said, we actually had some snowfall accumulation already for northern parts of Texas, up toward North Lake in Texas. 4.7 inches of some snow has fallen. Southern parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas are going to have a big rest of the day and night ahead snowfall wise. Temp check, we're in the upper 30s, 32 in Dallas, 30 in Oklahoma, Abilene 32, the Amarillo Panhandle at 26, much warmer farther to the south and east. Houston clocking in at 45 degrees as of noon. Here's the rain coverage throughout the rest of the next few hours. Will be in that widespread category, so we're all going to be getting some soggy conditions. Some of us may be getting ice in. This should taper off overnight, heading off into your Friday. Quick check on pollen. Mold and cedar, they're low and both trending down. We'll be talking about this cold rain sticking around in Austin, talking about rainfall and ice totals and how the weekend looks. That's all coming up in just a bit.
Tommy, thank you. With that wintry weather that we're tracking, the governor wants everyone in Texas to be careful when driving the next few days.
At a planning event in Austin, state leaders said dozens of agencies activated emergency resources in preparation for this winter storm we're experiencing now. Thousands of workers from the Texas Department of Transportation were out in the days leading up to this, pre-treating roads with brine. That liquid solution works to prevent ice and snow from sticking to the pavement. In the meantime, the Texas National Guard is on standby today to help any stranded drivers.
We know lots of folks have their eyes on the power grid, and ERCOT leaders say they believe the grid will be able to service the entire state during this storm. However, officials say that does not guarantee that your home will have power the whole time.
But ice on trees, ice on power lines, or somebody losing control and hitting a power pole could make you lose power at your house.
The governor says Texas opened more than 300 warming centers across the state. You can find the nearest one by calling 211. We also have a link with more information in this story on our website, KXAN.com. We do want to take you up to North Texas because they are seeing some snow.
Looks pretty different from where we are right now, but we want to show you that snowfall that they're having today. This is what our crews captured and what's falling there near Plano. At least an inch of heavy, wet snow has already fallen in that area. Despite the roads being treated beforehand, the flakes were still enough to turn them wet and slushy. While there are not a lot of cars out on the road, according to our crews, the ones that are taking it slowly, which is good. Most schools in the Dallas area canceled classes today, and the snow plows have been out, but they are having a hard time sometimes keeping up because of that snowfall. Meanwhile, back here in Austin, the city has also deployed crews and will keep emergency response teams on standby. This is to make sure that people stay safe and warm over the next few days. Workers with Austin Energy are out trimming trees to protect lines from falling limbs. Austin and Travis County cold weather centers typically only operate overnight. However, they're supposed to stay open throughout the day today.
Austin ISD students hoping to be like the kids up in Dallas and get a snow day. Unfortunately, out of luck, they headed to class for a regular schedule today. But the district says its phone lines are down. AISD sent out a letter to alert families of the outage, citing an issue with one of its vendors and asking families to, quote, please connect with your campus via email or in person. AISD did not say whether this outage with the vendor was related to the inclement weather we're seeing across Texas. Again, schools and offices for the district are on a regular schedule today. After school outdoor activities, though, were canceled due to the weather, and any other outdoor activities will be moved indoors. The district says its social media and mobile app will have more information if things start to change. And you can find a link to where to download those in this story on KXAN.com.
The city of Austin's cold weather shelters are open to anyone. However, the homeless tend to use those more often.
That's because the cold can, of course, be deadly for that community. A new report from the Ending Community Homelessness Coalition, or ECHO, found just over 1,000 unhoused people died in Austin and Travis County from 2018 to 2023. Researchers say that's actually likely an underestimate. The report pointed out that overdoses, cardiovascular issues, and transportation incidents were the leading causes of death. It also shows that deaths are increasing from about 7 per month back in 2018 up to 22 per month in 2023.
Felt the need to do this report, uplifting voices and experiences of those that are no longer with us. Very hard to be living outside. And we're seeing that in our death data.
That report found men are far more likely to die on the streets, making up 82% of those deaths. The team at ECHO says they look forward to presenting this all to the city and discussing some recommendations. Going in depth, a report from the National Coalition for the Homeless looked into this. It found at least 700 people in the U.S. who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless die from hypothermia every year.
Austin police are investigating the city's second homicide of the year. According to police, someone called 911 saying there was a person lying in the parking lot at an apartment complex on Manor Road near Rogge Lane. When officers arrived, they found the person with trauma to their neck. That person died there on the scene. APD is still investigating what type of weapon caused the injury. Turning now to some national news, President-elect Donald Trump is trying to delay his upcoming sentencing in the hush money case that led to his conviction.
He is also railing against the U.S. Justice Department for saying it will release a report on a separate legal investigation. Washington correspondent Hannah Brandt breaks down this battle.
Poised to start his second term, President-elect Donald Trump is still facing legal troubles.
It's a scam. And we have very dishonest judges.
He's scheduled to be sentenced on Friday in the hush money case where a jury convicted him of felonies for falsifying business records. But Judge Merchan, who's overseeing the case, says he will not impose jail time, fines, or probation.
Mr. Trump has been fantastically lucky.
David Super is a Georgetown law professor who says the president-elect is benefiting from his position.
He won't face a day of probation or a single dollar of fine, much less the prison term that you or I could expect for similar convictions.
But the Trump legal team is fighting to delay his sentencing, asking the Supreme Court to postpone it.
This struggle at the last moment is Mr. Trump's team trying to take an enormous win and turn it into something even better for him.
Though Super predicts the high court won't delay the sentence.
I would be very surprised if they got involved.
The incoming president is also facing other legal drama. The Justice Department says it plans to release findings of its special counsel investigation into Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
For the sake of the public record, after Inauguration Day, all those records will become under the control of appointees of Mr. Trump, and one imagines that they would be destroyed.
It'll be a fake report just like the investigation was a fake investigation.
The DOJ plans to withhold the public release of another report focused on Trump keeping classified documents after his first term. Instead, it will give that report to some members of Congress. In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
We are taking a very wet look out at our bee cave camera. You can see raindrops covering the lens there, so we are seeing some moisture in parts of Central Texas. Tommy is tracking the temperatures, though, and is going to explain why most of us aren't going to see anything freezing. He'll have that coming up in just a couple of minutes. First, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has proposed downlisting the golden-cheeked warbler under the Endangered Species Act. The bird's breeding range is here across Central Texas, and it has been protected since 1990. Fish and Wildlife officials published a new species status review saying the bird does not need to be listed as endangered anymore, but instead as threatened. The downlisting could reduce the bird's protection as it faces growing threats to its habitats, such as land development and climate change. Now, this comes in the wake of a very lengthy court case between the General Land Office and environmental activist groups. We reached out to the Texas Public Policy Foundation, which has been representing the Land Office. Their senior attorney called it a step in the right direction, adding, "As we argued in our case filed in federal court, it is time to delist the warbler species because the species is thriving." And you can read more about that on our website, KXAN.com. We have a lot of bird coverage on there. Our weather team does a great job of tracking these important little guys. I think all the birds, though, are probably safe in their nests, hiding from the cold temperatures today, hopefully.
Reading a book, hopefully so.
Yeah, cozied up with some coffee.
A sweater.
Yeah.
Maybe some tea.
That's where I want to be.
Yeah, all of us, yeah. I mean, it's cold. If you look at what's going on across the state of Texas, you'll notice that northern parts of the state are dealing with some pretty heavy snowfall rates up toward the Dallas-Fort Worth area, northeastern parts of Texas and southern Oklahoma, even Arkansas, northern Louisiana getting some snow, and the hill country getting some of that mixing and freezing rain at the moment. A cold rain for the Austin area, south and east closer to Houston and San Antonio. We're just dealing with the drops at the moment, but farther west of 281 toward Burnett, Llano, and San Saba, that's where we're picking up on a little bit of icing at the moment. Beat Cave, we just looked at this. Look at all the drops on the lens, courtesy of Covert Beat Cave Auto Mall. Just some cloudy conditions with some on and off showers at the moment downtown. Winter weather advisory in place for the hill country until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning because of the freeze and rain threat that could be out and about. Let me show you what's going on county by county. Cold rain for, let's say, east of Travis and Williamson County and Lockhart. Bastrop's all rain, so is LaGrange, Fayette, Milam, and Lee counties. Farther out west toward Blanco, Llano, San Saba, especially Mason and up toward Lampasas County could be getting some wintry mix throughout the day today. High resolution model throughout the afternoon hours into the evening. Notice that the rainfall rates begin to pick up pretty tremendously throughout the downtown area. Up and down the I-35 corridor is just going to be a while to get home from work. Wintry mix and icing continues for the hill country. And we could be seeing a little bit of cold air kind of get wrapped around this toward the very end of the system as it clears through. I'm not expecting any sort of snow or anything like that, but perhaps some spotty icing around Travis County and Williamson County. That can't be ruled out entirely. We'll start off tomorrow with some clouds, and then a little bit of some sunshine could poke through by the morning into the afternoon hours. Ice accumulation less than 1/10 of an inch for pretty much most of the hill country. The exception is Mason County with 1/100 of an inch up to over 1/10 of an inch there. So it's not going to be anything big and damaging. However, just some spotty, slick roads could be possible, especially some that are untreated. 1 to 2 inches of rain are possible for pretty much most of us in Central Texas, a little bit less farther west towards San Angelo, but we need the rain. We are in a rainfall deficit, but we should be dry Friday and Saturday, back up into the 50s by this weekend. Could be gusty at times throughout the day tomorrow as well, up to 25 to 30 miles per hour out of the north. Wind should subside a little bit over the weekend. Sunny weekend, but then clouds will build back in sometime Tuesday into Wednesday. We're going with a 10% chance of any sort of rainfall activity at the moment. This will likely change as we get closer and closer to the middle half of next week. All right, your first warning weather, 7-day forecast, 40s and 30s today, back up into the mid-40s tomorrow. A freeze into your Saturday, 50s and 60s Saturday and Sunday, back down to the 50s next week.
We're back this afternoon with a live look from Bastrop. Some raindrops accumulating there on the screen. As you can see, we are tracking precipitation all across Central Texas this morning and into this afternoon. So stay with us for a full look at the forecast, including the latest look at the radar with Tommy House coming up in just a moment. The U.S. Justice Department is widening its lawsuit against a real estate software company to include 6 major landlords and property managers. NBC's Antonia Hilton takes a look at the latest.
The Justice Department expanding a lawsuit against RealPage, accusing the software company of coordinating with landlords to pool non-public tenant data and coordinate to keep rents artificially high. now adding 6 of the largest U.S. landlords and property managers to the suit, including Greystar, Camden, Cortland, Cushman & Wakefield, Livcor, and Willowbridge, representing more than 1.3 million units in 43 states and D.C. Many landlords use RealPage to help set rental prices and manage occupancy.
Optimize property performance even in challenging market conditions.
This summer, the DOJ alleged their software facilitated a price-fixing scheme.
This conduct had really corroded the market and allowed companies to put profits over people.
In the updated complaint, the DOJ says competing landlords conducted phone and email discussions, even cocktail hours, and participated in monthly user groups promoted by RealPage to share information. They quote one Greystar employee telling a competitor that a property manager had declined to fully participate due to, quote, price-fixing laws. That competitor replied, price-fixing laws, huh? That's a new one.
Price-fixing scheme, as alleged, is not only affecting the properties managed by RealPage's clients, it's causing a rent increase across the board.
RealPage told NBC News they deny the DOJ's claims and plan to fight them, saying their practices are legal and it's, quote, past time to stop scapegoating RealPage and now our customers for housing affordability problems. 2 landlords did not respond to NBC News for comment. 2 others denied the claims, vowing to vigorously defend themselves in court. Cushman & Wakefield, a management company, told NBC they should not have been named in the complaint and that their practices do not violate antitrust laws. And Cortland settled with the government, telling NBC they've developed their own software. Antonia Hilton, NBC News, New York.
Right now, if you're looking to buy a house, it appears to be getting easier to afford one in the Austin metro. Out of the largest metros in the country, Austin saw the most improvement in housing affordability last year. That's all according to the real estate firm Redfin. Based on the city's median income of about $103,000 a year, Austin homeowners would spend nearly 40% of their salary on monthly housing costs. That's down from nearly 43% in 2023. The likely cause is an increase in housing production during and since the pandemic.
In-depth, investigative. This is KXAN News at Noon.
Your time now, 12:30, and you're taking a live look out over downtown Austin, where things are looking very wintry. This is that weather we've been talking about all week. It has arrived.
Those low clouds obscuring much of our view of downtown at the moment, but we want to get a check on our temperatures out there because, Tommy, right now, it's still pretty cold.
Yeah, temperatures were actually in the low 40s when we started off the show, around 11:30. In the past hour, once the rain began to move in toward Travis County, those temperatures cooled down. Evaporative cooling brought us down now to 36. Can you imagine if we were all 5 degrees colder today? What a big difference this storm would be. Cloudy conditions, winds out of the north at 5 miles per hour, feeling like 32 degrees with some light showers on and off throughout our area. You can see where some of this wintry mix is beginning to set up just to the west of 281 along 290 toward Gillespie County. Fredericksburg's getting a little bit of some either wintry mix, a freezing rain, or perhaps a little bit of sleet at the moment in the higher elevations. Mason, Llano, and San Saba, this looks very elevation based. There are still some pockets in the hill country of some cold rain, but also some places also have some bit of a freezing rain potential as well on 190 there. So we'll continue to watch this. Downtown Austin, we had some rain move through. We saw that on the Estonia weather camera 30 minutes ago. Since then, just more of a drizzle at the moment. And heavy snowfall totals up to northern parts of Texas exceeding 4 inches. Could be getting close to a half a foot in the coming hour or two. So here's what's coming up. We'll be talking about this rain in Austin. How much colder will we get today? Could we see a little bit of mixing in Travis County? Where will that rain mix line set up? Actually, could there even be some flakes on the back end of this? It could be a possibility for some. So we'll share the latest trends there and talk about the weekend forecast. Temperatures back up into the 60s. I'll show you which day warms back up coming up in just a bit.
Tommy, thank you. The scene in North Texas, a little different than what we're seeing here. So we do want to take you to Arlington. Crews were out all night preparing the roads there.
Quite a few people are going to be headed there for tomorrow's Cotton Bowl. Even though this game will be played indoors, officials are obviously worried about the high number of people, the Longhorn fans alike, traveling by cars to that area. Bowl officials say they have been in contact with emergency management in the Dallas area, college football playoff officials, and local law enforcement. They say if there is a hard move in the forecast somehow, they do have contingencies in place.
They also said that they are sending crews up from South Texas to help.
Mainly because we think that's going to be where most people are impacted from this storm, but that'll handle the game traffic also.
Okay, if you plan on traveling up for the game, our weather and traffic team is saying it may be best if you can wait until tomorrow morning, or you can take a note from me. I think I'll be trying to head up in the afternoon if I get to go, so that those roads are a bit more clear.
Already planning ahead. Well, remember, if you do not have it already, now is a great time to download the KXAN First Warning Weather app. Just scan the QR code that you see there with your phone. You can also find it on KXAN.com. This will help you know the timing of the weather and the impact to traffic and any school delays.
We are still following several fierce wildfires burning throughout Southern California, sparked by dry conditions there and some really powerful winds. These fires have killed at least 5 people so far and forced at least 100,000 people from their homes.
We want to show you a live look from Southern California at the moment. This is a live look from the Eaton fire that's burning there near Altadena and Pasadena. CAL FIRE, which is overseeing a lot of the response efforts there and sharing information, has said that this fire has burned almost 11,000 acres, and by the looks of that smoke, the fire is only continuing to roll. The raging Palisades wildfire, meanwhile, kept up its march across Los Angeles County last night. The flames engulfed many homes there, with some collapsing completely. CAL FIRE's latest update says the Palisades fire began Tuesday and has now grown to more than 17,000 acres. Containment remains at 0%. Fire officials hope that calmer winds in the region will allow firefighters to start to get a better handle today. However, there are mandatory evacuation orders that do remain in place for neighborhoods close to this dangerous wildfire.
News of the fires has, of course, reached Washington, with many on the federal level looking for ways to help.
Washington correspondent Maddie Beer-Temple reports on the federal response to these and how California's lawmakers are monitoring the situation.
President Joe Biden stopped at a fire station in Santa Monica Wednesday as wildfires devastate the Los Angeles area.
We're prepared to do anything and everything as long as it takes to contain these fires,
including firefighting help from the Department of Defense. Strong wind is fueling the flames.
Winds are gusting up to 100 miles an hour. If they tell you need to leave, you need to leave.
Congressman Brad Sherman is watching as parts of his district west of LA burn.
Palisades High School is pretty much gone.
My heart is so heavy after seeing the devastation.
Congresswoman Judy Chu spoke on the phone before flying to California Wednesday. Her district includes Pasadena, where she says important institutions are now gone,
including the Pasadena Jewish Temple.
While firefighters across the state are responding, FEMA is also assisting. The federal agency approved grants to reimburse California for firefighting costs.
From the White House down to the city council level, we are in constant communication.
Congresswoman Laura Friedman wants her constituents in LA to be vigilant and
to listen to the first responders. If you get an evacuation warning, don't wait.
Some lawmakers want Congress to look for ways to prevent future fires, like San Diego Congressman Scott Peters' Fix Our Forests Act.
We're hoping to move that this year so that when these events come along, they're just not so disastrous.
The bill passed the House last session but didn't become law. In Washington, I'm Maddie Beer-Temple.
Today in Washington, a final farewell happened to former President Jimmy Carter. A state funeral capped off days of services and memorials to honor the 39th president. This included an opportunity for the public to say their goodbyes while he lay in state at the Capitol Rotunda.
Carter died on December 29th at 100 years old. The late president is remembered by his family, friends, and all of those who worked with him in the White House decades ago. Ahead of that service, mourners came by the thousands to the Capitol to pay their respects. They waited in line for hours in frigid temperatures just to spend a few moments with the president, who many say touched their lives in some way or another.
Political leaders and celebrities also joined those masses, as well as all of the nation's living presidents. President Biden today delivered a eulogy for his longtime friend. And after that, Special Air Mission 39 is taking the 39th president back home to Georgia for a private service at his hometown church, where he taught Sunday school for decades. He'll then be buried next to his beloved wife. as the funeral procession brought President Carter's casket to the National Cathedral today. Its bell tolled 39 times to mark the 39th president.
As the nation is mourning him, Austinites are honoring the former president at a public memorial wall signing right now. Officials with Habitat for Humanity and the city say he was a lifelong advocate for affordable housing, and he inspired millions of people to get involved with helping to build homes here in the United States, but also across the world. This memorial wall signing will run until 5 tonight. It started at 9 this morning. And if people would like to attend, that's at 500 West Ben White and South First Street. Yesterday, the acting secretary of the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development joined city leaders to honor Carter's legacy with a wall raising ceremony. It also kicked off a new 12-home affordable housing development and the redevelopment of Rosewood Courts, one of the oldest public housing properties in the nation, right in East Austin. The city's housing authority says they expect to have those homes finished by early 2026. Jobs in artificial intelligence are on the rise here in Austin.
The AI company Abby just moved to the area from California. It says jobs in tech, specifically those involving and using AI, are in demand. According to the commercial real estate information company CBRE, Austin is now a top 10 market for tech talent specializing in AI. The report says Austin has more than 7,000 of these types of workers. Still, Abby's chief product and technology officer says there is a shortage of people to fill these tech jobs. That's why they recommend taking the time to gain skills in AI, something they say anyone can do with or without a four-year degree.
You can just go to YouTube alone and just build yourself as far as a playlist of basically a curriculum. You start developing these skills, could be machine learning, could be AI scientists, but it also could just be using ChatGPT, using some of these AI models. If you know how to use them in your job, you will make more money. You will have more opportunities.
According to Workforce Solutions Capital Area, as of last June, there were more than 5,000 tech job postings here in the Austin area.
Texas is trying to regulate artificial intelligence. One state lawmaker filed a bill for the upcoming legislative session called the Texas Responsible Artificial Intelligence Governance Act. It would require companies to disclose whether they are using AI. It also plans to strengthen protections for personal data in AI systems, promote education and training, and establish guidelines to prevent bias and discrimination when using these kinds of technology. We are taking a live look now from our Indeed tower camera at the Domain. You can see those low-lying clouds and even a little bit of moisture there on the camera lens. That is what we're seeing across parts of Austin. Tommy is tracking what it looks like for the greater Central Texas area. He'll have all of that coming up in your full forecast in a couple of minutes. Turning now to the Consumer Electronics Show. It's one of the biggest tech shows in the world. And this year, it's all about AI, making our lives a little more connected and a little bit easier.
Rich DeMuro takes us inside and visits Las Vegas to show off more of the products on store.
CES 2025 in Las Vegas is where the world's tech companies, big and small, come to show off their latest innovations. And although every year there are themes, like this year it's AI and smart home, you really never know what you're going to discover until you just walk around.
CES 2025, where the tech world descends upon Las Vegas.
It is amazing for everyone to come together across multiple different categories to connect with each other, to discover new innovations, and to solve problems.
This year, over 4,000 exhibitors and over 130,000 attendees expected to check out innovations in AI, smart home, cars, and of course, TVs.
At 163 inches, don't forget to tip your delivery person.
But big screens are also getting more personal, thanks to augmented reality glasses like the X Real 1.
They are connected to my phone. Oh, wow.
Plug them into your phone or computer, and suddenly,
I can see my phone screen now hovering in space.
Mobility. I think people want to take their entertainment, their work on the go.
Samsung teaming up with the Museum of Modern Art to provide high-quality artwork to its frame TVs, which look like a print when not in use.
Don't let your eyes fool you. This looks like artwork. It's actually a TV. TV screen.
Samsung promoting a vision of AI for all.
You're going to be able to just live your life and let the technology take care of that back-end work for you, so you feel empowered by that technology rather than overwhelmed.
LG wants AI to be more personal for users.
We're looking at it as affectionate intelligence. And affectionate intelligence means if we're affectionate, we care.
Musician and entrepreneur will.i.am on hand to talk about his new LG X Boom speakers, which are tuned for balance and warm sound.
Awesome lows, beautiful bright mids, and like shiny highs.
They also have an AI DJ to mix personalized music.
What do you like about all this tech stuff?
Yo, this is like adult technological Disneyland. If you're a technocrat, if you like gadgets, yo, this is the place to be.
I mean, you heard it from will.i.am. CES 2025 proves once again that this is the must-see show for any tech lover. Now, if you want to see some more of my coverage, you can find me on Instagram. I am at RichOnTech. In Las Vegas, I'm Rich DeMuro. That's Rich on Tech.
Little soft plug there.
Yeah.
Rich on Tech.
You got anything you want to plug, Tommy?
Tommy House weather for now.
Yeah. Plug the
people
TikTok.
should be these days right now. Yeah, I mean, we're posting some weather graphics, but I'll just tell you all of them right now anyway. You don't have to go to your phone. It's in the 30s for the hill country, lower 30s. We're getting some of that evaporational cooling, so notice for places like Lampasas and San Saba, Gillespie County, you're just above freezing. In Blanco and Mason County, you're at that 32 mark. We were at 41 at 11 a.m., and now it's in the mid-30s because we're starting to see a little bit more precipitation move into our area. Still a freezing mix for portions of Lampasas. It's elevation-based, and it's not everyone getting ice in the hill country, but you can see some of it popping up on our Doppler radar there. Cold rain for Austin. Big picture across northern parts of Texas. That's where we're seeing a pretty significant swath of some moderate to heavy snowfall with some sleet and icing and heavy rain for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. They're just getting everything, a giant bucket of all sorts of wintry weather. We'll watch the storm continue to move its way to our north and east and notice a pretty sharp cutoff here. Cold air tries to get wrapped around through the late afternoon into the evening. This should clear up by around 11 o'clock in our area, and then we're just going to be cloudy overnight with a little bit of some sunshine returning tomorrow. So not a big look on the skyline there. We just have reduced visibility. 36 feels like 31. Our winds out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. We have a winter weather advisory in this purple area. That is for the hill country. Big concern there, of course, is the freezing rain and wintry mix. Cold rain for Travis and Williamson County eastward. Not expecting any sort of mixed precipitation or snowfall. Could get a little bit of flurry flake activity through the back end of the storm system for places like Dripping Springs up toward Lampasas and Burnett. More of a mix or a sleet and maybe freeze and rain more than snow. Here's how it looks in our high resolution model. Notice between around 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. that drive home from work is going to have some pretty heavy rainfall that's going to be out and about, and a little bit of mixing as well for the hill country up toward Lampasas there. LaGrange, Milam, Lee, and Fayette County, this is an all-rain event. Those yellows and oranges, that's the heaviest rain, should be moving through by the late evening into the overnight hours, and then this all clears out by right around 11 o'clock, as I mentioned. Less than 1/10 of an inch of ice, spotty in Travis County, maybe even higher elevation portions of Williamson and Travis County could get a little bit of freezing rain out of this, with our temperatures getting closer to 32 degrees, and then more ice accumulation west of Llano County. 1 to 2 inches of additional rainfall is expected, most of it falling through the late afternoon into the evening and early overnight hours. Just some light sprinkles as of now. That will change, though, in the coming few hours. 56 on Saturday, 60 on your Sunday. Some cloud cover a little bit builds in Sunday into Monday, and one of our computer models is putting out a little bit of rain Tuesday into Wednesday, more toward the valley in Houston area, Corpus Christi, down towards San Antonio. We'll have to watch these trends and see if more rain returns next week. We'll focus on today's storm first, though. 41 today, a cold rain in Austin. Icy possible for the hill country. Tonight, winds will stay out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Could be gusty at times up to 25 miles per hour. All right, our first warning weather, 7-day forecast. A drier Saturday and Sunday into the 50s again next week as our next cold front moves through. Now, I mentioned evaporative cooling. This is your first warning weather university lesson of the day. It happens as precipitation falls into dry air. We have dew points right now in the 20s, so when that precip falls, it evaporates. Therefore, the surface temperature of the ground cools, which means that those temperatures will continue to decrease. Now, we saw our high temperatures today were in the upper or low 40s, and then here comes a little bit of precip like we had, and then the past hour or so we're back down to the mid-30s. And that's your first warning weather university lesson of the day.
All right, we're taking a look out at our Dripping Springs camera there. You can see traffic is moving, but those roads do look a little wet. So if you're heading out today, we are expecting some moisture on those roads. Drive safe. Tommy's got a last look, though, at our forecast to let us know if we're going to see anything freezing. Probably not, it looks like.
Yeah, probably not. We were in the 40s this morning in Austin. It was a little bit warmer than what we thought, but those temperatures are quickly dropping, now down to 36. So our high temperature will continue to drop. I'm not expecting 40s to return today. Then overnight tonight, just a little bit above freezing. So in Austin, we'll keep that cold rain probably at 32 for the hill country. Back up into the 40s on Friday, 50s on Saturday. But notice Saturday morning, if you have any sort of outdoor plans, maybe a run club, a jog, walking your pets, going to be in the 20s. So bundle up. The cold air is sticking around for a few more days. Warmer back up to 60 on Sunday. Another cold front moves through back down to the low 50s, which is seasonable. Our normal highs in the low 60s this time of year. And considering we had the warmest fall on record, it's not a surprise that we finally have some overdue cold air in place. And that's a look at your first warning weather 7-day forecast.
Tommy, thank you so much. I do want to note that the crew has said if you're heading up to the Dallas area, maybe headed to that Cotton Bowl game, it's best to wait until tomorrow because up there all show we've been tracking some snow for you. So just a quick reminder if you're trying to make any last minute plans.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate you being with us. We hope you enjoy the rest of your Thursday. That's right. Thursday?
It feels like
it's been a long
Friday.
week.
It's a
This is the first time I've said the day all day. Enjoy your Thursday, everybody. Take care.